Hi Martin, how you doing? You all right?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Can I just get the team news ahead of the weekend, please?
You want the starting 11?
Go on then.
Apart from Luana and Ella, everyone else is available for selection. Molly Bartrip has been back in training the back end of this week, but this game probably comes too soon and she'll be in full training from Monday. So apart from that, everyone else is fit and available.
Okay, great. It's obviously Black History Month in October. Obviously, an awful incident happening with Jess the other week. Are you going to let the players decide what they want to do ahead of this month?
Yeah, exactly that. The players will decide what they want to do as a collective, and me and the club and the wider club will support that.
Will you get involved or just let them take the...
No, let the players decide. It's their game. It's what they want to do, and more importantly, they have to make that decision. And whatever they do, they'll make me aware of it, and I'll support it.
How much are you looking forward to this game? It's another very ambitious club looking to get into that top echelon of women's football, Brighton.
Yeah. I think Dario's done a wonderful job there. I think they've done really well in terms of building the team, and their performances are getting better and better. They have a really nice playing style, very front-footed and very aggressive off the ball. And want to contest possession, and I think they've done really well so far, and we know it's going to be a tough game, but it's one we're excited for.
I know you're ultra ambitious, but it's early days, but the table looks nice at the moment. Like, what would you give the start out of 10?
11.
Yeah. I thought you'd probably say 5 now. You're quite ambitious, but
probably around 5. In terms of, I know there's still a lot more to come from us. We've had maybe some ups and downs, some dips in performance, but I think we've had some really solid performances too. And more importantly, we've just got to make sure that we continue to build momentum, keep building and evolving, and take the right steps. And this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Finally, Tinker's been nominated for WSL Goal of the Month. It was some goal, wasn't it? A bit about on the goal, but her impact in general. Yeah,
I think she's had a big impact personally, professionally. Very infectious player around the group. Good. Really good individual, adds a lot of quality to us as a team, gives us different dimensions as a player in terms of how we want to play and how we want to attack and defend. And their goal against Everton was wonderful. Instinctive, very creative, but very aware in terms of his surroundings. And someone shooting from just inside the opposition's half is very brave. So I'm glad it went in.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Okay, we're going to move to questions on the online feed. Emma.
Hi, Martin. Nice to see you.
Hi, Emma. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm sorry to have to go back to this because I actually really hate the fact that we have to keep talking about it, but the racism, obviously, that Jess suffered, it's quite upsetting, really, isn't it, that we're still sort of having to discuss these things, not just in the women's game, but in football and society in general. But, from your perspective, what more can we do? Because I know that there's obviously things out there that the club and the league and stuff are trying to do, but is there anything else that you think can be done to try and stop this?
No, I'm probably in the same mindset as you, Emma, in terms of we do a lot in terms of initiative, and we do a lot in terms of speaking up and making these things known. And I think more importantly, we have to find a way collectively, whether that is as coaches, as players, as a league, to find the best way to impact it, and try and leave that to maybe the league as a whole, but a lot of the governing bodies around sport to make sure that there's consequence for those sorts of actions, and probably harsher consequence. And because no player, no individual in society wants to face that. And I have a lot of empathy for Jess in terms of how she feels, and everyone else who's maybe faced that and has been part of that. So it's not a nice thing, and more importantly, we have to find the best way to resolve this moving forward.
And how is Jess, and has there been kind of any development in terms of the communication with the authorities and sort of the social media accounts that you were in discussions with as a club?
Yeah, firstly, I think more importantly, Jess is good. Yeah, same character, bright personality, smile on her face, enjoys doing what she does, and she's got a good group of players and staff around her that support her, a wonderful club that gives her that support. And yet, more importantly for us now, we have to make sure that we keep pushing as a collective to make sure that we try and put things right. And the local authorities and the social networks are still doing their due diligence and making sure that we identify the people that do it, and we find the right ways to deal with them.
Yeah, thanks for that. I just want to ask about the midfield pairing that
Yeah.
you've been using between, you know, sort of Drew and Evelina. And I wonder sort of what you think it is that complements each other in terms of that position, and why you think they're sort of, you know, they work for you in the system that you're trying to play.
Yeah, I think there's obviously there's Drew, Evelina, there's Maita, there's quite a few in there. Ollie, Kit, Olga, there's quite a few, and I think more Drew and Ev. At the start of the season, we had a couple of injuries, so Drew and Evelina played together, and I think they built a good relationship, and probably the diverse experience they've got. Drew's got vast experience in this league, and now Evelina has. They both have international experience. I think their skill sets and characteristics both complement one another. They're both good with the ball, but they have different ways of playing with the ball. Off the ball, they're both, again, different players. One's really intelligent, Evelina, in terms of breaking up play and identifying those moments. And Drew's really combative 1v1 and gets up close and makes sure people know she's there. So, yeah, they have a really good relationship, and it's something we've used, as you said, through the games we've played. And more importantly, when that kind of relationship's building, you want to continue that. But that's not to say that any of the players can't come in and can't step in, because they have done in terms of in certain games. But it's more importantly the right pairing that I feel for each game. And yeah, each game presents a different problem for us with the opposition. So more importantly, we have to find the right balance of when it's right to play Drew and Evelina and when it's right for a different pairing.
Yeah, and just finally for me, just on Bethany England really, because, you know, in the first game of the season, I think she started sort of a little bit, you know, higher up as kind of like the lone sort of number 9, and obviously she scored in that game, and then since then you've played a sort of, you know, a little bit behind Tinker, who's obviously scored some goals, but Beth hasn't got herself back on the score sheet. So I just wonder, like, what's your thinking around that? You know, is that just something that maybe works better for the team? You know, how do you get the best out of Bethany England, I suppose, in that position?
No, it's a good question. It's something we've spoken about, me and Beth, and we spoke about as a collective, as staff, in terms of how we get in the best positions, more importantly, but not just that, how well players evolve as they go through their careers, and they maybe lose certain attributes as they go through, and how can we enhance their knowledge, understanding their finishing qualities, and making sure that we can get in the best positions to affect the game, but the way that it complements the game. And Beth has a wonderful back-to-goal ratio in terms of how she handles the ball and a success rate with it, and I feel she links really well between the lines. She can use her experience of when to move and when not to move behind the back line, but doing that from deeper positions. But I think a link-up play through the centre of the pitch is vital for us, and it's why we looked at it in that more deeper position as like a number 10. It's not much different. It's more probably 5 or 10 yards lower than what she would usually play. But there's times in games where she's went back into the number 9 at times. But it depends on the profile and how we're looking to attack from a central position that dictates that. But I think Beth's link-up play in the middle of the pitch has been really good for us. But the opportunity to use her in that position is something that we can help her evolve her game with.
That's really interesting. Thank you. All the best.
Cheers. Thank you, Emma.
Hey, Rachel O'Sullivan.
Hi, Martin. Last week I asked you about the importance of both Tinka and Olivia breaking down Leicester, and they both went to school. I want to ask, is it going to be quite a different setup now against Brighton? They're a high-pressing team, you know, I guess a very different challenge for you.
Yeah, I think both of them have. Yeah, we did speak about both of them ended up scoring. But yeah, I think what I look at more, Rachel, is the opposition and what they present us, and what's the best players to execute the game plan, and what's the best players to be in certain spaces on the pitch that we feel we can get into. And if that's Olivia, that's Katinka, or anybody else, it's how we do that. But yeah, we've trained today. We'll assess as staff when I come away from the press conference now what we feel is right. We've trained certain aspects that we feel we can exploit. Yeah, whatever we feel the individual characteristic is for that, whether that is Olivia, it's Katinka, or it's any of the attacking players, we'll make that decision. But yeah, it can be different for different games, because I think more importantly, you don't want to become predictable.
And I think it's only United who perhaps, I know it's early in the season, have had more clean sheets than yourselves and Brighton. And when you look back to last season, you know, clean sheets were hard to come by. I think Spurs had the second highest goals against. Was that something when you came in that you actively wanted to try and address?
Yes, totally. I think when I watched a lot of the games back, Rachel, before I come in, I think we were conceding a lot of goals, and we were conceding goals that were stoppable, if you want to say, in the bluntest way. So making sure that we're organised, and more importantly, you've got to enjoy defending. You've got to enjoy stopping people scoring on your goal, and obviously get a real kick out of going the other way. And one thing I made sure is that we're organised and we understand the individual responsibilities. There's an expectation on the team and individuals within that team that there's certain accountability we have to hold in terms of the effort, the commitment, the determination to want to defend, but more importantly, what this club demands in terms of representation. So more importantly, it's just giving them a framework and organisation and some real clear guidelines of what we need to look like off the ball. And if we don't look like that off the ball, we'll be on the back end of a thumping. And more importantly, we have to make sure that we do that consistently. And maybe the alarm bell was from Manchester City that we took our foot off the gas a little bit. And I think the players alluded to that there was a bit of kind of, okay, that's the level now. And I think they've realised that very quickly. And more importantly, you sometimes need that to wake you up. And I think that was the game that maybe woke us up a little bit.
And preparing, I guess, for your fifth game now, how are you finding the challenge, the different styles you come up against? And yeah, how are you doing it?
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. I relish those challenges of preparing for different opposition. And as I've said earlier on in my press conferences, the managers pose you different problems, and it's a chess game every single week. There's world-class managers in this league, and there's world-class players in this league, and more importantly, we have to find the solutions for the game, and whether that's in-game or before game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think the players, the staff have been wonderful in terms of what they've done. The club's been outstanding in terms of what they're doing for the women's team, and more importantly, I just want to help this team grow, help the individuals be better, and if we can make sure we achieve our ambitions in the near future, yeah, we'll be in a good place.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris?
Hi Martin, how's your week been?
Good, not too bad. How's yours?
Yeah, good, thank you. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about the 2-1 win on Sunday against
Yep.
Leicester, how pleased you were again, because that's now 3 wins out of 4 in the WSL, an excellent start. And you spoke out there about the players waking up a little bit, having lost 5-1 at home against Manchester City. How pleased have you been with the players' reaction on and off the pitch?
Yeah, I think from the Man City game, and then we had the response against Aston Villa, which I thought was a bit of a scrappy game. It was between both boxes and there wasn't really much in it. It was a typical, probably, cup tie. And then we go into Leicester, and I thought the first half an hour, I thought we were outstanding. We were in control. We created numerous chances. We were on the front foot. We had a bit of a dip the back end of the first half. And then second half, I thought it was, kind of nip and tuck between both teams. There wasn't really much in it. It was a bit more kind of scrappy. But probably the biggest thing I took from that was the team's ability and resilience to see how to win in terms of when you're ahead. Because that takes a lot in terms of when you've got so much direct play being played at you. Sometimes you can crack as a team, and we didn't. I thought the way we managed the game at the end in the last 7 minutes of added time, I thought we managed that really well, and it cut it quick. So yeah, I was really pleased with them, and I think more importantly, that sets you a real good platform, Chris, for building on top of that. You know you can see out games and see out wins when you're not at your best. And I didn't think we were at our best in that second half, and more importantly, if we can do that, we'll put ourselves in some really good positions moving forward against every team in the league.
Since that defeat against Manchester City, could you pick out 1 or 2 players perhaps who you've been surprised by or you've been pleased with their leadership, both on and more importantly off the pitch?
Every one of them. No, everyone. Yeah, no, I wouldn't single anyone out. I think the effort, the commitment that they're showing day in, day out on the training pitch, but also in the game. I think even the players that don't start the game and they come in and finish the game for us, they were outstanding. They've done exactly what I asked them to do, and it's never easy to come into a game like that when it's quite kind of turbulent and transitional. And I thought the players who come in done exceptionally well. And I'm really big on that for the group in general, Chris, in terms of you start with 1-11, but you never finish with the same. And more importantly, how do you utilise those players when they come in to make sure they execute what you want? And sometimes it might not be what they want to do, but also at the same time, if they do something well for the team, they should get plaudits for it. And since I've been in, anyone that's come into the game has impacted well.
There's been another change, of course, this week in your coaching setup. Lawrence joining. What's he going to bring to Tottenham? Yeah,
a lot. I've known Lawrence for a long time. I worked with him at Everton. I worked with him at Manchester United. We're really good friends, but more importantly, he's a outstanding coach. His knowledge and understanding the game is probably some of the best I've worked with, and probably the best people I know. Tactical intelligence is really high. He knows this league inside out. He's a wonderful, wonderful coach, and I think he's going to add a lot to this players in terms of their knowledge, but more importantly to the staff and team moving forward. he's going to be valuable in terms of us finding those fine margins in games, but more importantly, tactically evolving within game. His knowledge is second to none, and it's a massive coup for us to get him in.
If I can, I'm going to finish up with a bit of a strange question. Kick-off times. 11:55, 12 noon kick-offs. There seem to be a lot more 12 noon kick-offs coming in. Do you prepare differently for early kick-offs? Do you like early kick-offs?
Yeah, to be fair, last time I was in the Super League at United, we used to always have our home games at 12 o'clock. And that was more to get the edge, to be like, okay, the teams want to travel the day before, the teams not want to travel the day before. But now everything seems to be 11:55 or 12. 11:55 is different. I've never seen that myself. I don't know what the 5 minutes does. But more importantly, I think, early kickoffs, I prefer them. And I think, more importantly for me, I think it's unique to the league now. It gives it a really clear point within a football fixture and schedule that this is when we kick off, and it actually attract, I feel, more interest, and it'll generate more of an audience, in my opinion. And we have a really, really clear opportunity as a women's football league now to make sure that time is to us, and more importantly, moving forward, we can build a commercial interest.
Thank you, Martin. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Rachel Cohen.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. So I guess I wanted to build on something that a couple of people asked me before about sort of leadership and also Evelina.
Yeah.
Because notably you've given her the captaincy when Beth hasn't been on the pitch so far this season, and she's also a player who's now played every minute, I think, of all the games. And she's been at Spurs quite a while, so she came when she was 23, she's been here a long time. Where do you see her at the moment, sort of like role within the team, not just on the pitch, but also kind of more broadly? Yeah,
I think more importantly for me, obviously, leadership is something that's big, but I try not to create a hierarchy within the team, which I'm really big on. I think obviously Beth is the captain, Molly Barshop is the vice captain, and anyone then behind that is the rest of the group of players. I will decide, as you've seen with Molly not being available, obviously when Beth's come off, it's when to Evelina, and Evelina's kind of leadership is, she does it in a way with her own actions, her performances, the way she conducts herself, the way she carries herself, and what I want to make sure is that everyone leads by example on the pitch. And in some other games it might be different. I always tell Beth, if she's coming off, that I will tell her who the captain's armband goes to, because in that moment you might need a different type of leadership on the pitch. If you're behind, you're in a game, for example, you're not winning the game and you want someone to kind of lift the team, sometimes you need a different leadership. And it's something that I've been really big on, and I've done a lot of kind of thinking around, and I've read a lot about. And more importantly, I want to make sure that everyone leads, not just the individuals who wear the captain's armband.
Thanks. And talking about a player who sort of like has been at Spurs a long time as well, Ash Neville obviously got her first game minutes with you last week. Were there things that you learnt about her from watching her play sort of competitive game as opposed to just seeing her in training or seeing her when she was part of the opposition? Yeah,
I think I've obviously seen Ash a lot when I was at the previous clubs I was at. I've seen her a lot in training since she's been back in, and obviously it was nice for Ash the other day to get some minutes in the game after having some time out. And she's been unfortunate with some of those injuries, and more importantly now she's fit and she's healthy. Again, I haven't seen something that I haven't seen before. She's competitive. She wears a heart on her sleeve. She's very aggressive off the ball, and more importantly, she has the ability to carry the ball through the pitch when we have it. Ash has added big value in that game against Leicester the other day. Probably her experience in the league probably helped us in a lot of moments. She slowed the game down. She took kind of the sting out the game at times when she needed to, and it was delighted to see her back on the pitch.
Thanks. And one of the things we've noticed as well that you have typically, I think in all of the games except one so far, used all 5 substitutes. Yeah. So, and you talked earlier about bringing players in, the players who start the game are not going to be the ones finishing it. Are there players who you see as especially good as substitutes? Coming on at that later point?
No, do you know what? It's a really good question, because when I was at Manchester United, we had certain players like that who actually had really good records of coming off the side and winning us games, and coming off the side and getting us back into games. And no player at all wants that kind of label, if you want to call it, or tag of being an impact player. But I think in some moments, some players have that. But I believe everyone here who we've got in the squad can start. It's just me having the job to make sure I pick the right 11 to start. But we also take into consideration, Rachel, at the same time, is that players coming into the game are going to impact, and we kind of foresee what's going to happen within the game potentially, that we feel these players are better coming in and these players are better starting. So yeah, there's a lot of quality within the team, and we have to just make sure. I have to make sure, more importantly, that I get that balance right.
Thanks. And can I just ask one other question?
Yes.
It's about your assistants, coaches, and your staff. And obviously that's
Yeah.
growing. It's great to see good people coming in. I guess my question is just: is the club doing anything to ensure that there are also women being promoted as part of that, so that we see sort of women as part of the backroom staff as well?
Yeah, of course. I think that's big for me in general, in terms of making sure it's the right person for the right position, it's the right person for the right job. But more importantly, we have a lot of female staff behind us and a lot of male staff in terms of in our team, in terms of the staff behind me. And there's more of a balance and leaning towards female staff in this environment anyway, in lots of departments. And more importantly, I just make sure that when we're hiring staff and we're hiring people in the position, if it's around me or it's a wider team, that we identify the best person for that job. Whether they're female or male, it doesn't make a difference. It's making sure that we find the best candidate who's going to add the most value to the team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Alia.
Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
Hello, Martin.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. I'm kind of digging further onto Ashley. Obviously, she's played a key role for us over the past few seasons. How important is her return to the squad? And kind of, obviously, we've had our defensive performances have been very strong. How do you plan to incorporate her back into that back four, and how important is that competition to helping the squad continue to improve?
Yeah, I think more important, I think Ash's been here for a long time. She has a lot of WSL experience. She has a lot of understanding of the club. And more importantly, it's making sure that when the opportunities are right for Ash to obviously play, and as I said, she's been unfortunate with injury. Now she's fit and she's healthy. When the opportunities are right and the game suits her characteristics and her qualities, then obviously Ash will play. And that's the same for every single player. But yeah, I thought when she come into the game, I think it would have been a nice moment for Ash to get the first minutes this season against Leicester, and I think she come in and calm the game down, more importantly, but she also gave us a bit of an edge off the ball in terms of her aggressiveness and the way she defends.
Yeah, and Charlie, for me, on the back of several strong performances from Tinker in starting 11, particularly as a number 9, is there kind of like a plan for her to become the main striker, or is the plan more so to rotate her with the likes of Bethany England and Martha Thomas to keep the competition for that position strong?
No, I think competition's healthy. I think you have to have competition within a team if you want to evolve and you want players to develop. And Katinka, Beth and Martha are all three players with different profiles, different characteristics who can play in that position. And that's obviously good for us to have as a team, because it becomes more unpredictable who plays there. But I'm sure they'll all individually have their own ambitions of wanting to be that centre forward now and in the future. And yeah, I just have the difficult job of making sure that it's one of them who's going to be there in terms of in certain games. But if we can get all three of them on the pitch at some point, it'd be ideal.